How's it going, everybody? I'm the BTC Reaper, and my goal on this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading when the price is going up or down. Ben Bitboy Armstrong arrested after live stream rant. He took to Twitter and confirmed this arrest. He spent 8 hours in jail. Armstrong posted to Twitter that he would be going live from a very special location. This location would be the house of crypto investor and consultant Carlos Diaz, who Armstrong claims is connected to Hit Network and has his Lambo. During the YouTube livestream, Armstrong alleged that Diaz wanted to kill him, that he has links with the mafia, and claimed that he is constantly fearing for his own safety. While being pat down searched, he is asked if anyone else is in his car. He struggles to answer at first because he glanced down, saw he was still streaming to 2,500 people, and had to admit that he was with the woman he had an affair with. But don't worry, his wife knows. Armstrong explains that this woman named Cassie, don't care, is involved in the situation with Diaz, so he claims that she's linked with Diaz and that's why she was there. He then alleges to police that Diaz has been extorting him, sending death threats, and stole his Lamborghini. The Lamborghini in question was allegedly bought by Hit Network and given to Bitboy as an employee. When the network decided to remove Armstrong, they decided they wanted to sell the Lamborghini to recoup funds that Armstrong allegedly stole from the company. So, the Lamborghini isn't his. Bitcoin Ordinals creator announces new fungible token protocol Ruins. So, Rotimer, the creator of Ordinals, said that Ordinals have undesired consequences of unspent transaction output proliferation on Bitcoin. UTXO represents the amount of Bitcoin remaining after a transaction is executed. Each Ordinals transaction requires a separate Bitcoin transaction. In contrast, Ruin tokens balances will be held by UXTOs, and each transaction output can contain any amount of number of runes. So basically, you can only do one ordinal at a time and then inscribe your one ordinal at a time. For ruins, you could inscribe a whole batch of ruins at one time in one transaction, and it would help clutter the network less. A spokesperson from the Ordinals marketplace told Decrypt that ruins works better than the BRC-20 as far as fungible tokens go. It's more lightweight and malleable. It is also more easily transferred and swapped, like I said. So not too much more there. Chase UK bans crypto transactions following surge in scams. British customers will not be able to buy digital assets on a Chase debit card or by transferring money from a crypto site from a Chase account from October 16th. Chase told Decrypt in a Tuesday email that this was done to protect their customers and keep their money safe, more like keep Chase's money out of crypto. The bank said in a note to clients that the move was down to an increase in the number of crypto scams targeting UK customers. They said if you would like, you can go to a different bank. So on to our Dixie, we are on the hourly, so I'll flip to the daily. We are trying to push forward. We did get a little bit of a pump, so we are continuing a little bit of a move up while the rest of the market is draining. So our dollar index wants to push forward, but our crypto seems to be sliding. Our stochastic is trying to push forward, RSI is kind of starting to bend, and the momentum is trying to push forward and push away from any kind of bearish divergences. The money flow is a little iffy though, as we're at this 15 zone where we've been rejected a few times before. We didn't take major dips, but that is a spot for rejection. We are in an up channel, so overall I still don't feel too confident with this. Our VWAP is going up slightly, but not with very much strength, so it could easily just roll away the other direction. Over on our total, we are getting a little bit of a drop down away from our resistance, so we are seeing this manipulation X start to somewhat play out right now. Our stochastic is starting to head down, RSI is overall sliding. The momentum has fallen to the bearish territory as our VWAP is in the bearish territory as well, and it is in a bearish trend. Our money flows overall arching out with a bearish trend starting, so our total market cap's not looking too good, and it looks like we may be in for some continual downside from here. Over on Bitcoin dominance, we are trying to slide toward our support still. We're kind of at the lower half of this range, so if we don't get some green candles off of here, it's likely we may break through this bottom and see this flag play out finally. Our stochastic is pushing down pretty violently and our RSI is sliding. The momentum overall is rounding away and pushing lower as our VWAP is pretty strong in the bearish territory and it's not letting up right now. The money flow has also fallen to the bearish territory, so if that money flow continues down and the VWAP continues down, which we are in a spot where that is likely, then we may see a bit of a slide. We may break this support resistance, come up for a retest, and then possibly break down afterwards. Over on Bitcoin, we are getting a manipulation X from yesterday that wants to push us down, but we're not really going anywhere. Our stochastics overall pushing out. Our RSI is pushing down. The momentum has fallen to the bearish territory. This is Bitcoin CME. Our VWAP is in the bearish territory. It's kind of stalling here though, so that is hopeful for us, because if it can stall and start to curl up, we may still have this double bottom be able to play. It would just be very sloppy. This would be like an inverted head and shoulders here that could push us forward. Our money flow overall is coming out though, so I would watch out. If we push any lower than where we are right now, we would break that inverse head and shoulders possibility most likely, especially if we got below this zone or below our head. Then we would like to see continued downside. Again, we have that 20k gap that still is yet to fill. So over on Bitcoin, on the daily, we have a manipulation X. We are within our other flag that we have on those lower time frames. Our stochastic is pushing down. RSI is trending out. The momentum is pushing lower. The money flow is coming out, and the VWAP is starting to fall down. Real quick, if you haven't already, smash that like, hit the subscribe, and join us in that Discord link. There's not very many people that have joined. We're gonna need a few more people. Gotta do a few tweaks to the statue, but everyone in the Discord knows what's going on. But I apologize to those members, and I will work to get that done. Over on the 4 hour, we do have a possibility for some sort of a double bottom to form here if we can get some continued green candles. Our stochastic is starting to push away. We do have a bullish cross, but that bullish cross is rounding over and is in jeopardy of pushing lower. Our RSI is overall trending away. Money flow is getting lower lows and rejecting with lower highs, so we could start a bearish trend here. Our VWAP is starting to curl away from that neutral. So overall, it looks like we may get a rejection here on the 4 hour, and it could start to get sucked under. So I would pay close attention to these lower time frames. If they pick up bullish strength, that could propel us forward. But if they maintain bearish strength, we're going to see continued downside. Our stochastic does want to get a bit of a round here. Our RSI is trying to push higher with higher lows, but the highs are pretty consistent. Our money flow is trying to push into the bullish territory. We are at a decent spot for it to bounce, but our VWAP is coming out. So if that VWAP continues with bearish action, that money flow could just roll away in a few candles and then possibly push lower. Momentum isn't gaining much strength as our VWAP is falling to the bearish side. If it continues down, we could be in for some lower price action, but we're going to need to make lower lows. If our VWAP starts to curl up on these lower time frames and pushes bullish pretty decently, then we could start a bullish trend that could help break us away from this zone. Sorry about that, my hand hit the keyboard. Our stochastic on the 1 hour is trying to push bullish. RSI is trying to push forward. Our VWAP is trying to break bullish. Our money flow is trying to push forward, but the money flow is looking a little dicey here. It is starting to roll away with a possible lower high that could form. If we get a rejection candle after this candle and start to see some price action down, it is possible that we will get rejected and see this VWAP roll over and lower price targets. Momentum does want to get a green dot as that VWAP is breaking to the bullish side, but again, just watch that money flow. If it starts to inch out, we could see a bearish trend. Over on graph on the daily, we are pretty flat here. We may be forming some sort of bull flag. Our stochastic's overall pushing out. RSI is overall losing strength. Momentum's coming down, and our money flow is kind of zigzagging around, but we are rejecting that neutral and pushing to the bearish territory. Our VWAP is pretty flat in the bearish territory, so if that VWAP manages to curl up from here, we could see a bit of a bounce and a relief rally up. Over on the 4 hour, we are overall pushing down for our stochastic, and we rejected across pretty strong. RSI is pushing down. We have a manipulation X that is bringing us lower. Our money flow is rejecting away from neutral. VWAP is getting lower lows, and our momentum is pushing into that bearish territory. So overall, the 4 hours looking more bearish than bullish. Again, watch these lower time frames to determine if that's going to maintain or not. Our RSI is overall sliding here. Stochastic is pushing lower with a bearish cross. Our money flow is inching out. VWAP is pushing lower, and the momentum is coming out. So overall, we do have a pretty decent amount of bearish pressure here. Again, if you haven't already, smash that like. RSI is trying to come up here on the 1 hour. We are getting lower lows, but we are in a bit of a bear trend here, so we could see this continue to slide away. So just because we're rounding up here doesn't mean we're necessarily going to get a decent push up. We could get a little bit of a sporadic push like here, and then it could ultimately end up fizzling away, just like this one did. Our stochastic is trying to curl. It does want to round for a push up, but again, don't get too overexcited. Our VWAP is trying to push forward, and our momentum is pushing down pretty strong, as our VWAP is in a bearish trend. Our money flow is trying to form a bullish trend, so if we get higher high here on the money flow, it is possible we would continue price action up. However, if we get a lower high on our money flow, we'll see a bit of a rejection here and we'll start to roll away and possibly fall into this pattern. Over on Anchor for the daily, we are pushing the bottom of our flag, so just keep an eye on that. Let us pull this out. If I can get, there we go. Stochastic's overall pushing pretty hard. RSI is pushing not too strong yet, but if that stochastic keeps up, RSI will follow suit. Momentum is coming out with the red dot as our VWAP has fallen into the bearish territory, and our money flow has broken bearish as well, so overall the daily is not looking very strong. If we break this support here, we are likely going to see continued price action down and possibly fill this wick here. Over on the 4 hour, we are in a bit of a descending triangle here as we're getting lower highs and consistent lows, so that could end up breaking this support. RSI is overall trending out, stochastic is pushing down, and the money flow is rejecting pretty strong. Our VWAP was trying to push forward, but it looks like it's starting to round away, so if we get continued price action down from here, we're likely going to see a pretty decent leg to the downside. Over on the 2 hour, we did have a manipulation X that brought us down. Stochastic's overall pushing out, RSI is trending away, our money flow is rejecting away from that neutral and carrying a bearish trend. Our VWAP is trying to get a bullish trend and push forward. So if we can get higher high and break through this neutral, that would propel us forward for a bounce off this support zone. However, if this VWAP starts to roll, then it is likely we'll break this support and see lower price action. Over on the 1 hour, RSI is trying to push forward, but we are in a bit of a downtrend here. Our stochastic's overall starting to round away. It does want to get a bullish cross to push us forward, but it's not very strong right now and it's still in the bearish territory, so even if we cross and then roll over, we still have a bearish trend. Our VWAP is trying to break through the neutral and wants to go bullish, but we are getting lower lows, so if we reject here, we could start a bit of a bearish trend. Our money flow overall is in a bearish trend with lower lows and lower highs, and the momentum is coming down. If that VWAP manages to cross to the bullish side, then the momentum likely will come up, but otherwise we could see the momentum just ride out, kind of like here, and then we could see other indicators drag down lower. If you look, the money flow is in a pretty low spot though on the 1 hour. We haven't really stayed this low very much, so that could be enough to help push us forward as well there. If we look at the daily on XRP, we are getting a little bit of a rejection from our point of control and our flag, so this could start a bit of a breakdown. If we get stopped by this value area low though, then it would form more of a double bottom that could push us up. Stochastic is overall trending out, RSI is trending out, the momentum is coming down, and the VWAP is pretty flat, but it is in the bearish territory. If we get stronger red candles, it is likely the VWAP will roll over. However, if we get green candles, we could see the VWAP pull up. Our money flow is in the bearish territory, that's pretty flat as well. We're getting consistent lows and lower highs, so that's not too bullish for us, and that could end up spilling us over. Over on the 4-hour, you can see we confirmed that rejection of that flag. Stochastic's starting to roll away. RSI is starting to trend out. Our VWAP's getting lower highs, and our VWAP is in danger of breaking through that neutral. And the money flow is rejecting away from that neutral slightly. If the money flow continues to reject and the VWAP falls down, it is likely we'll get a leg down. However, if the VWAP bounces here and the money flow crosses bullish, it is likely we'll see continued price action up, at least toward this resistance area. Momentum is trying to come up, but our VWAP's overall trending out, so I would keep an eye on that VWAP. Over on the 2-hour, we have a manipulation X right here that wants to bring us down, so I would keep a close eye on it. It is the second manipulation X we have, so we could see it spill us over, kind of like back here. Stochastic is pushing down with the bearish cross, and the RSI is maintaining ground, but that may be short-lived if our stochastic crosses through that 30. That VWAP is in the bearish territory and falling, but the money flow wants to go bullish. If the money flow can manage to go bullish and the VWAP rounds here, we could get a bit of a bounce, break through this resistance, and see continued price action up. However, if the VWAP continues down and the money flow starts to reject away, it is likely we'll see that leg down I've been warning of. The stochastic on the 1-hour is overall pushing down pretty strong. It does want to get a bit of a curl here, and the RSI wants to get a bit of a bounce, so we'll have to see if that can sustain. The momentum is overall pushing out, and the money flow is overall trending out. The money flow is bouncing off this neutral, kind of staying above it. So if we can curl up and gain some more strength, we would see continued price action up. However, if it just rolls over and breaks through that neutral, we're going to give the strength to the bears, especially with the VWAP being in the bearish territory. The VWAP does look like it could start to round over here, so I would keep a close eye on that. If the VWAP rounds over, the money flow is likely going to follow. Over on algo for the daily, we are pushing down toward the bottom of our support for our flag, so we could end up breaking through and seeing the flag play out. Our stochastic has a bearish divergence that is pushing us lower. Our RSI is trending out, and the momentum's overall spilling over. Our money flow wants to break through the neutral, so if that does happen, we will see more bearish momentum, especially with that VWAP being in the bearish territory already. Over on the 4-hour, our money flow is in a bearish trend, rejecting away from that neutral, so that's not very good for any bullish possibilities, and our VWAP is doing the same. RSI is overall pushing out, and the stochastic is pretty beat down. The momentum is falling, but it doesn't have very much room to fall any lower, so it could just ride out this zone until we see our price action start to get a bullish trend, which could be some time. Over on the 2-hour, we do have a green candle, but it's a bit of an inverse hammer candle. If we don't get a strong green candle after this, we could end up just getting a rejection. Stochastic's overall spilling over, our RSI is losing strength, our VWAP's in the bearish territory, but is heading up. If it can manage to break through that neutral, that would give us bullish strength, and then it would need to make a new high to give us a bullish trend. However, if it makes a lower high and rolls away, then we're likely going to see continued price action down. Unless the money flow and VWAP break bullish together, then that could help propel us forward, kind of like it tried to do back there, but we ultimately fell flat. Momentum is coming down after getting a little bit of a rally, so we could see this trend kind of continue as we start to crab our way down. We do have a little bit of a down channel here though, so that could be a bullish trend to push us forward. But with as kind of narrow as it is, it would probably push us toward like some support resistance, maybe around this 9.9, and then we could possibly see it stop short at the top and reject away and finally break down after that. Over on the 1-hour, RSI is overall trending out, stochastic is falling. Our VWAP did want to push toward that neutral, but it's kind of stalling and kind of rounding. So if we get red candles here and start to fall, we'll likely see a rejection from here. However, if we get some strong green candles, we could break through this neutral. But if we see the third, if we just kind of go flat here, Then we would form a bear flag, these signals could get stretched out, and then we would ultimately drop, that would form a flag within our flag. Our VWAP is trying to push toward that neutral, it is starting to round away, so I would keep an eye on it. If the next couple candles aren't bullish and we get more red candles, we could see this VWAP start to reject, at which point we could start a bit of a trend down. The money flow is in a bearish trend and the momentum's overall beat down pretty bad. Thank you for watching tonight's video. I hope you have a wonderful night.